We have been in negotiations. Yeah, the security cost goes up to, $100,000+ but we have been in negotiations to solve two problems. One is the financial problem. People know that Mardi Gras is huge around here, brings in a bunch of tax dollars, but the problem with it is that all those tax dollars go to the parish, go to the school board, goes to the sheriff's office, tourism bureau, you name it. However, the city of Shreveport, we're the only one that fits the bill for the parade. We know that's not fair or sustainable to the city. So we've been talking to the krewes to try to get them to help us out. The second problem is this: every parade in the city is not treated the same or even similarly. So they have some pretty significant benefits that other parades don't have. We as the city of Shreveport, we got to be fair to all of our citizens. We got to be fair to all of the entities within the city. So we're trying to solve those problems, and we're going to do that. We've been negotiating in good faith, and I'm excited about Mardi Gras season. So we're going to make sure that we have Mardi Gras season here, and everybody is happy at the end of the day, but we got to do it responsibly. And it might require some changes going forward.
So previously, how has security at these parades been provided by the city?
The city has paid for it, just flat out. There's been an in-kind contribution to the parades.
I guess, what are the paths forward here? I know you're saying that you're in negotiations with these different krewes, but what does that actually look like?
Yeah, so the negotiations, again, we're just trying to solve those two problems. We're trying to get more contributions in so the city is not squarely responsible for paying that huge security bill. Whether it's from the parades, we're reaching out to those other taxing authorities as well to see if they want to help contribute. But my administration, when we came in, we had negative $1.3 million in our operating reserve. So going forward, if we want to make sure we don't go back to that place, we got to look at every city contract, every city initiative, every endeavor so that we can save money. But again, the $100,000 thing is not true. And we've offered several different options to the krewes because we're going to have Mardi Gras season. We're excited about Mardi Gras season and just as excited as the krewes are.
Can you provide a more accurate number about what that price tag could look like if these krewes foot the bill?
I can't at this time because there's too many variables, but it's nowhere near $100,000. That's not what we're asking them to do. I can tell you one option that we did offer was to provide, a 5-year transition for whatever the number they could pony up, whatever they could afford. We did offer that option in one of our meetings, but we're going to continue to meet. And like I said, we're going to make sure that we look out for the krewes and we look out for the city at the end of the day.
Does the police officer shortage factor into this price tag as well?
So not the price tag, but the potential route change is what the police officer shortage how it could impact our talks on next year's Mardi Gras. I'm waiting to hear back from Chief Smith on what that looks like for them and what capacity they do have. But understand this, safety isn't the priority for us when having these parades. We're going to have fun, you name it, but safety is paramount. So if my police chief tells me, hey, sir, we cannot sustain this particular route, we need to adjust it to here, then I'm going to have to defer to my police chief and make that call.
So that's why the route is being changed, simply because there aren't enough officers to staff those previous routes. Is that correct?
Well, Christian, I gotta correct. It's not changed yet. We are going to continue to monitor our level of officers that we have throughout the city. We'll continue to monitor how many officers we'll have available at that time. And again, we're talking to the krewes as well because we need to see how it's going to operationally impact them. But in any anticipation with any certainty, I can tell you we are going to lead with safety here.
And then last question for you. There was this idea of taking Mardi Gras across the river. Do you think that's even a possibility?
I've talked to some members of council in Bossier. I've talked to the mayor in Bossier, and the support is not there. We would love to host with Bossier, where you do, half the parade on one side of the river, half the parade on the other. But right now, that the support for that is not there. And I believe they had a council meeting yesterday, and they're going to vote on it. So, if anything, we should watch how that vote goes, and we can see where their inclination to co-host with us is.
And when do you hope, ideally, to wrap up these negotiations about the security price tag with these different krewes?
Sooner rather than later, honestly, because we know we need to give them time to do planning. They got budgets, you name it. We have a budget that's being finalized right now too. So we're really trying to wrap it up sooner than later. I think one of the holdups was waiting to see how Bossier was going to be a part of this equation, but we should be getting some finality on that pretty soon. And it seems that we in Shreveport, we're going to have to be the ones to make the calls on what's going forward.
Was there any sort of contract previously between the city and these crews about security?
Yes, and that's a great question, Christian. There was a contract, but unfortunately, the last year of that contract was during COVID. So that's something else we're taking in consideration. We do want to extend the courtesy for these crews to, have a year under similar circumstances, because COVID impacted them just like it impacted everything in our community. So we could just very well fall back on that option as well, just to give the crews more time to get back financially on their feet. So like I said, everything is on the table. We're not going to financially burden our crews to the point where they can't, it's unsustainable for them, and we can't have Mardi Gras season the way that we typically do. So yeah, we're working through it. Anybody that's saying, the administration said A or B, or it's pinning them in the corner, that's not true at all.